Welcome to If These Balls Could Talk, the podcast that ChatGPT described as a must-listen for any sports nerd. This is Mark, along with John and our producer Pete, and we're ready to discuss the latest in sports tech and pop culture. If you like what you hear or see, please like us and hit that subscribe button, or if we like to say, tickle that little bell. Joining us tonight is our friend Steve Mercier. Mercier. Wow, I haven't had one drink yet. Shoulder. I haven't even had one. I've barely had a drink. Anyway, good evening, Steve. How are things with you?
Here's everybody.
Hello.
Glad to have you back, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
And was I not on the show when you were on it the first time?
You had just had your baby.
Oh, okay. So
I was the Avatar Pete.
Steve, I was just a Bitmoji icon that was like, "Help! I have a baby."
Pete also went to college.
Avatar Pete.
Pete also went to college with us back in the 90s.
Well, I know, okay, Pete, it was the end of the 90s.
Holiday party.
Oh yeah, he comes over to things. Yeah. You met Pete before.
Yeah,
he's kind of famous. Sure.
Pete is
he has an IMDb page.
Pete works.
I got a lot of stuff on that IMDb page. That is correct.
My dream is for Pete to go to the Nerd Oscars. I know I've said that on the show before.
I know. John, how you been?
I am excellent. I pregame tonight. We won trivia.
Ooh.
We won trivia.
You won trivia.
We won trivia in such an epic fashion. Melanie pulled out the last question, music question, obviously.
Was it Reindeer Games? Oh, okay.
It was about... So I don't even remember the guys' names anymore because it was so esoteric, but we were given the names of the two band members in All American Rejects, and she remembered that it was All American Rejects, which was incredible. Incredible. And then we lost the Jeopardy question. Everybody lost the Jeopardy question, but we bet the best, so we won.
Beep, beep, beep. What did you win?
We won a bunch of gift cards and the Trivial Pursuit game. It was for school, so it wasn't like beer, but it was really fun. We had a great time. And then we are towards the end of the Snyderverse now, so we're watching kind of the middle of Justice League. I thought about the 4.5 hour Snyder cut, but it's rated R, so we skipped that.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's rated R. They add a bunch of stuff that is
interesting.
I think there's a lot more swears in the Snyderverse one, right?
But
there's a few
Jamie
F-bombs.
needed to know.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
It's so funny. We're watching Batman versus Superman, and spoiler, it's like 10 years ago. Superman dies. And so she's like, "Oh, he'll be back. There's 20 minutes left in the end of the movie. He'll be back by the end of the movie." I'm like, "He will not." She's like, "He will not." I'm like, No, he's dead.
Wait, have you watched Wonder Woman yet?
Yes. So she's watched Wonder Woman before. So we're in Justice League, and then we'll possibly watch Birds of Prey, skip around in that. And I kind of want to watch Suicide Squad with her. I really want to watch the new ones. Until Marvel
Shazam?
puts out it. Oh, she's seen both Shazams. Those are great, by the way. But yeah, we're just making our way through cool action movies because my daughter's awesome. And what else is going on? We didn't have ice cream today because of the school event. We had ice cream on Tuesday.
No ice cream at trivia?
No Jamie at trivia.
Oh, so what was Jamie doing while you guys were at trivia?
She was watching rom-coms on Peacock.
At the trivia place?
No.
I was gonna say
she is your wife's daughter.
She's essentially a grown-up.
That's crazy, man.
She wants.
She's actually just there.
I was left alone when I was like 10,
she made herself.
I guess.
Her home on Wednesday. We left her home this week again, and she made her own dinner. She made an omelet. She's working her way up into adulthood.
Dude, my parents were like paranoid to leave us alone when we were like 16.
You were boys.
Yeah, but
you were boys.
I also had
you tend to hit each other a lot.
I had a mom that was a lot like John's mom, which is like, oh my God, protect. And then
Pete.
Yeah.
Pete, did you or did you not jump off your house when you were a child?
Multiple times. I think
there we go, bro.
As long as I didn't cross the street.
Anyway,
that is a true fact.
How are you, Mark?
Things are going well. I gave blood today.
Very nice.
This is something that I regularly do now because I'm type O positive.
A lot of alcohol tonight will be good for your blood.
Oh yeah, I've already started. I gotta replenish those fluids, right?
Excellent.
Yeah,
this is a great plan.
Will that make you drunk faster if you have less blood at the moment?
Yeah, clearly.
I've been eating a lot too, so
I think that's science.
I don't think calories count after you give him blood. So I've had a lot of wings today.
There you go.
because it's wings night at the restaurant down the street from me.
So now your new blood will just consist of chicken wing material.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's probably just gonna be like vegetable oil.
Oh.
All right, guys, we're gonna test my IT prowess and see if I can't get the new segment sound effect in the soundboard before it shows up.
Okay.
Ooh.
Well, Pete, now why don't you clue us in on what's been going on with you?
Oh yeah. So the weekend started great. It was Steph's and my 9th wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
So we went out to dinner on Friday.
Happy
And
anniversary.
thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Tim stayed with the grandparents. He had a fun time in terrorizing. Yeah. No, it was Nana and Grandpa Ford did. And so he was a menace to them and the dog, which is hilarious.
He loves to menace that dog.
But then, unfortunately, overnight Friday and then into Saturday, he got sick. And by the time we got to Saturday evening, he had a ton of trouble breathing. So it scared the hell out of us. We brought him to the pediatric emergency room, which is actually kind of near where John lives, down that route.
It's like
that
a
way.
lot near where I live.
Yeah, it's like right there.
It's like less than a mile away from my house.
And what was really scary was even after they flushed out like any mucus that they could, he was still not reading that high in the oxygen thing, and he wouldn't eat. And that was what really scared me. Like, I know that sounds kind of funny, but I'm like, oh my God, if he's not eating, that terrified me more than anything. Like, I wasn't worried until that. So they admitted him, and he was there through Monday afternoon, doing much better. But even by Sunday morning, he was like standing up in this hospital crib, and he was just like shaking the whole thing, like, yo, let me out. So
he was in baby jail, you guys.
He was. So, but he's fine now. He's not on any oxygen or anything anymore. So we'll see. We'll just make sure. But it was a nasty virus, and that was causing some asthmatic symptoms, which is pretty bad. But he's okay. He's home.
Good.
He's playing. He's his usual self. So, thank God we got through that.
That's why we have doctors, right?
Yeah, and that hospital was amazing. Just Albany Med, the pediatrics department up there, they were fantastic. So shout out to them for keeping our baby alive and healthy, and keeping us fed even while that was going on. So yeah, that was my weekend.
Well, we're glad that worked itself out.
Yeah,
Pete.
glad little Liam's doing all right.
Welcome to the next,
Yeah.
forever. Welcome to the rest of your life, Pete.
Yep, where we're just worrying about everything all the time.
John, you ready?
Aren't we gonna ask Steve what he's doing?
Or is that
What
part?
am I
Is
ready
that the segment?
What? Oh, no, I'm not ready yet. You just keep
Okay.
Keep,
Steve, what's been going on with you? We'll continue to
Me?
banter.
All right.
I was
Yes.
wondering what you were asking me.
My weekends are mostly filled with travel softball, which is fun.
How far do you have to travel for travel softball?
So luckily, it's not too far. So it's usually only within about a 40 to 45 minute radius of Albany. So it's not terrible, but they're usually a couple double headers at minimum every day. We do have a big one we've got to go to, which is we're gonna have 4 in one day, about an hour and a half from here. And then the next morning we've got to be
Is that a tournament?
another hour and a half in the opposite direction. Yeah, an hour and a half in the opposite direction. And that start is like 9 a.m. So I think I'm going to rent an RV.
Yeah, you are.
Right? Because we've got to be at the first games at like 8 o'clock in the morning at the first one. So it's like rent the RV, spend the night in the parking lot, and just be there. Do all the games on Saturday, and then drive the RV to the next place and do games all day on Sunday, and then come back. Like, I did not expect this. This travel softball stuff. I don't recommend it.
Does she like it?
But when she loves it, and that's just it. Like, and the parents are awesome, and we do have a lot of fun. But man, it takes it out of you. You're running all over the place.
Do you feel like she's gonna play in high
the
school?
fact that I actually get my lawn mowed is amazing.
Nice. Do you feel like she's gonna play in high school?
What's that, John?
Do you feel like she's gonna play in high school?
TBD. I think so.
Okay.
School?
I think so. No, we'll see. We'll see.
Jimmy has absolutely no
I think
interest in sports. It's so funny. I was like, "Hey, you're still kind of tall. Why you're still kind of tall? Do you want to play basketball this year?" She's like, "Not really."
What about swim team when she gets in high school?
she's-
She might do that.
She's still doing swim, and she likes swim. I think that the difference between solo sports and competitive sport, like team sports, it helps her anxiety a little bit that she doesn't have other people aren't relying on her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something like tennis.
that's a big deal.
Tennis could be, yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, she's got a...
Isn't she doing some theater too?
She
Oh,
is.
yeah, she was great. And
she's going to go out for the Legion for school play this year. I mean, and whatever she wants to do is fine. And we literally just had a conversation today about it. I'm not going to overschedule her, and she just has to pick some things, and she has to try them. So we're leaning into theater. She's in voice lessons, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's cool. I forgot she was in voice lessons.
Yeah, this year. New.
All right.
That's
Great.
cool.
It's really great.
And I am ready, Mark.
All right. And now, back by popular demand, basically us,
Is it?
we break the ice with some quick-fire questions with our new segment, Warm Up Your Balls.
Whoa, I think that worked.
As a reminder,
that was
Pete will spin
awesome.
the wheel and will randomly
Whoa.
select the question that our guest and maybe even us will answer. Are you ready, Pete?
Yes, let me switch to our new layout here for this.
Oh my god, I want to see it.
Go on to youtube.com.
Yeah, youtube.com.
So the problem is the wheel is a little small still, and if I zoom in, it gets stuck in. I'll show you what happens. It gets it gets cut off. But
oh, Pete, that's so fantastic.
But isn't that nice though?
We're
here. We are. We just a random website appeared to the right of us.
Wait, I'm behind. I don't see it.
That's amazing.
Give it a second.
I'll give you a second. Anyway,
so I said it very early on when someone asked us how we started a podcast, and I was just like quoted Avengers. I'm like, we have a Pete.
Ooh, I like it, Pete.
Yes.
We have a Pete.
It needs some readjusting, but it's a good start.
It's fucking great.
Cool.
All right. So, are we ready? Do I just spin the wheel?
Did you? Yeah. Go ahead. Spin the wheel.
Here we go. Spin the wheel. What superpower would you like to have?
Uh-oh. Did we lose Steve?
Uh-oh.
No.
Yeah, we lost Steve.
Wait, there he is.
No way.
Okay, no, we got you back. We got you back. Go ahead.
Back.
Go ahead, Steve.
Hey. So I know the popular answer is everybody likes to say flight. I'm invisibility.
Invisibility.
Oh.
Yeah, I am 100% invisibility. I would love to be stealthy and be able to go anywhere I wanted to go undetected, because I would love to just listen in on all the crazy crap that's going on out there and just have dirt. Like, I would be TMZ's greatest reporter.
Nice. Okay.
That's it. That's all I do. I go like hang out in Hollywood, be invisible, and without all the dirt that's going on Diddy.
Is there?
What
what about?
That would be interesting.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Would you get like a special suit so like your clothes were also invisible?
Oh,
invisibility is a tough one.
Yeah, what happens if the invisibility power wears off?
Then hey.
I mean,
as you remember from Fantastic Four, Sue Storm got naked the first few times, right?
Until she had the special suit.
She had the special suit.
She had the special suit.
Yep.
That's right.
It's like, that's part of every superhero origin story is like they just destroy their clothes. Like the first time the Flash realized he was the Flash and ran, his clothes just ripped apart. It's like, oh damn.
They didn't do that in the remake with John's former girlfriend Kate Mara, right?
I don't know. I remember the '90s Flash. They did it.
She was I mean Sue Storm. Like
the remake Fantastic Four. I never watched it.
The remake should be good, but the Fox remake was very bad.
Yeah. So invisibility, that's a good one.
But your former girlfriend was in it.
I mean, I watch everything she does.
I love that story. Maybe we'll get into it some other time, unless we want to get into it now.
Are we chipping in real quickly on this, or is this all for Steve here?
Yeah, of course.
So I used to always say flight, like he said, right? It's a popular thing, but honestly, or teleportation, right? That's another popular one. But lately, oh my God, time manipulation and time travel would be the way to go, because I have precious little of it.
Too dangerous.
All right, so then how about just like
super speed's the one? That's me.
Or super speed, but time manipulation. Just slow it down. Maybe I can't travel through time, but maybe I can manipulate
Yeah, but
time
you'll figure
relative
it-
to myself.
You'll figure it out, man. You'll figure it out. And you'll end the cosmos. They always figure it out.
Or you'll
All
end
the time travelers ever figure it out.
or you'll ruin your story continuity like Heroes or any other show that got too involved in time travel and fucked itself up.
Literally the end of every fantasy show that
know.
has superpowers. Once they get time travel, you're like, all right, this one's done.
Damn it. All right.
All right, next question.
Next
Oh.
question.
Spinning the
fire.
wheel. I made it bigger.
That's what she said.
What is your favorite meal you either like to cook or eat?
Why does it keep coming to the questions that I put in?
Rigged.
Random.
All right,
It's a brand
Steve.
new. Yeah, it's supposed to be random.
What is your favorite meal?
It is random.
Oh, my favorite meal is gnocchis.
Gnocchi.
Can you make them from
Okay.
scratch?
So I haven't, and I have a neighbor of mine, took a couple of doors up, who's going to teach me. So, I've always loved them, but I have found the greatest I've ever had, and they're in Montreal, and they are in the Mile End area called, and the name of the place is called Droguera Fine. And when you go up there, it's just a window. You walk up there, and they give you like a Chinese food container, a couple of chopsticks, and they're like, "Here you go." And they're like, "Do you want them spicy or regular?" And that's it. That's all you have to choose, and they're $5, and it is the greatest meal you will ever have.
Wow.
I will travel up there as many times as I possibly could to go eat those things. But, I'm gonna learn how to do them now we got fall weather, right? A little cooler weather. My neighbor's gonna teach us how to make some gnocchis, and I've got a big old jar of sauce that I've been keeping from them. So we're gonna try to replicate these back here in Albany.
That's
So
cool.
That's my favorite. Like, that's my
They're so
death
good.
row, right? Like, right. That's my death row meal.
That's always fun to
And
do.
they're actually
so-
honestly very easy.
But getting the
only thing
sauce
that
and the
take up a
flavors
lot
just
of
right, though.
space-
Right. That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah, like right. If you're good at making pasta, right, you can make gnocchi, but it's about like, right, when you go there, that brings me back to, I forget what the restaurant was. It might have been a place in Syracuse. I wish I remember. Steph would remember the bar, but I had this super super good meal there, and I was like, I need to replicate this. And I just like when I was eating it, I was like, okay, what flavors am I tasting? What's the profile? Like, what is this? Like, how's the consistency? I was just like kind of making all these mental notes in my head. And I think I even jotted down some stuff, and I did try to recreate it. So I totally get your point there. It's, and even if you don't make it exactly, if you make something good that's inspired by it, that's fun too, right?
Yeah. Right. Like, how terrible can it be?
Right.
It's
Yeah. Worst case.
Gravy's never the problem for me, Mark or Pete.
Not.
No, never the problem.
Well, then we got to combine some powers then.
That's right.
All right, let's go on to another question.
All right. To the wheel.
Wheel of morality. Turn, turn, turn. I like that one.
Who has been the most influential person in your life? And yes, shout out to Animaniacs, John.
Oh, I thought I got rid of that one.
Oh,
Because we
all right.
asked that last week.
Oh, sorry. Respin. Ooh. Whoa, why is this one so big? What is your biggest fear?
It's time for
I asked some really big questions on there.
Some pretty deep shit here.
so many get to know you questions. No sports questions at all.
That's
Oh,
okay.
man.
We're an all around podcast on here.
My biggest fear. Oh boy, it's got to be failure.
Yeah.
Like in almost everything that I do. Like,
You learn more from your
unfortunately-
losses than your wins, right?
Darn right, Mark. Right? Like I have been, and this is going to be weird to say, but I have been fortunate to be blessed with a lot of anxiety, and so, right?
Yup.
And so, like, those things are what feel, right? Like, there's a fuel behind that, right? And you can't be satisfied if you're not running from that, in my opinion. Like, that's my biggest fear is just failure, and it happens in so many different facets. My wife just shakes her head at it. She's just like, you gotta slow down sometimes. But now I get older and I kind of let things go a little bit, but it's still there 100%.
It's hard to let things go. I think that the
Yeah.
The curse of success and even happiness is the fear, especially at our stage of life, that it's gonna just disappear one day. And it's hard because like I think most people are probably anxious. Steve and I have had this talk. I've had this talk on the podcast a lot, but like I think most people are anxious, and I think that the way you deal with anxiety, I just told Jamie this recently. It's like bravery isn't not being scared; it's succeeding in spite of fear, right? And I think, you know, that is the line of like being able to deal with your life and not, because everybody's anxious. Everybody is.
Yeah.
So as opposed to invisibility, you were blessed with the superpower of severe anxiety, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, yeah. I used to think it was normal. My parents didn't really talk about mental health, so I used to think that was just the way people felt.
I mean, there wasn't much discussion about it, period, like really getting into this kind of stuff and until honestly the last 15, 20 years. Maybe even just the last 10, really, where it was really taken seriously. So
No.
All right. Do we have time for another?
We have 1.5 minutes for.
We have plenty. We have.
oh my gosh. All
Go
right.
ahead, Pete.
Spinning the wheel.
Maybe we'll get a sports topic.
Maybe.
I mean, the topics we do go away. So.
Okay. What is your favorite sports city that you have visited or lived in?
Oh boy.
I changed
That's
it.
a good question.
Chicago, probably.
Ooh, that's a very good sports city.
Yes.
Yeah. St.
You
Louis
lived in
is
Chicago?
probably the next. But yeah, St. Louis or Chicago are the 1 and 1A, in my opinion. Chicago's awesome. Chicago's just a great city, period. But from a sports perspective, I mean, there really isn't not much better from.
There are not a lot of places like Wrigleyville. Wrigleyville is hella fun.
Right, like it really is. Like getting some old style and having a hot dog and just watching a game is one of like the greatest life's pleasures. You've got the Bears, you got the Blackhawks, you got the Bulls. You've got so many different sports to be able to enjoy there. It's just a great city, and because of the fire, it's a wonderful grid. And it's super easy to get around, right? So that's and they've got just amazing arts. They've got I can't say enough good things about Chicago. It's probably
funny
one of my
how
most
you left
favorite
out
cities.
the White Sox.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot they have two teams there.
I mean, come on, like
after the year they
the
had,
conversation.
they don't.
You know what's kind of sad
seems
is
like-
I've visited Chicago many times, but I've only really seen one sports game there, and it was the White Sox.
That is my favorite. That is my favorite ending to anything.
Amazing. I definitely second Chicago, though. It's a great city. Sports and even in general.
New York.
Well, I mean, for those teams actually in New York.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Or actually, okay, New York City, I suppose. All right, fine.
Pete's a little salty because we didn't call Buffalo a New York sports team last week.
Yeah, what was that?
We still got
It's because when most people refer to New York sports team, they're talking about New York City. But you're absolutely right. They're not in New York City.
The Rangers and the Yankees. God damn it.
That is true.
And the Nets.
And the Nets.
Okay, yes.
And the Knicks.
And the Nets and the Mets. Sorry, Jeff. How are the Mets doing, by the way?
Well, the Mets are.
I don't know.
They could be worse, right?
Losing.
They won. Congratulations.
They won?
Jeff.
Good job. Yes, because Jeff is the reason they won.
Congratulations. The Mets are in the NLDS.
Team of Destiny, as I heard on a podcast the other day. All right, do we have time for another?
We do not. We do not have time.
That was it. But that went pretty well, I think.
The balls are warmed.
Yes, my balls feel very warm and toasty now.
All right. Pete, do you need us to banter to move on to the next segment? Or
no, I just need to do this.
Intro?
Boop. Here we go.
All right. And now we hand it back to producer Pete again for him to unveil his power rankings. In our segment, Pete, do you want to just go and say it?
Oh, yeah, hold on. This I do need to. Mighty Morphin Power Rankings!
It didn't work, Pete.
Wait, it didn't work?
It didn't work, Pete.
What? Hold on.
We're such good journalists.
Give me a second here. Why is my reverb broken?
Hit the reverb button.
Oh, I didn't do.
Rick, if you're listening, tell Drake London to stop scoring touchdowns.
Ready? Do you hear reverb now?
I do, Pete. Do it.
That's
So
the god
rude.
mic.
Mighty Morphin Power Rankings. Is that better?
We're gonna be a morning zoo show in a year.
It's oh god.
Oh, we already have
let's hope not. Yeah, you're right. You got the soundboard. All right. Now all I need to do is play some ESPN football music so we get copyright infringement and we'll be all set.
Yay!
Yay, copyright infringement.
All right. So let's start at the top. I like how the top 16 fit right in here. You know what? Never mind. The top's boring. So we're going to go over a couple highlights throughout this thing. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If you want to see the whole list, I mean, I'll reveal it in pieces here, but go to our website, iftheseballscould.pod.com. And
NFL Power Rankings.
Yep, under NFL Power Rankings, you can see the whole list right there. And you can agree or disagree with me to your heart's content. Yes. So, one of the big stories is just the Cinderella story of the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold rocketing up to number 2 because they look.
Darnold.
I mean, what a feel good turnaround to his career. Where I've always felt sympathetic for the guy who's just always stuck in bad situations, and now he's killing it.
Ghosts.
Yeah. So that's a happy story. We got the Chiefs. Sorry, they're won until they're not. No matter how ugly their wins look, they're 4-0, and somehow they have the power of Taylor Swift compels you.
Patrick Mahomes tore Rashee Rice's ACL.
Oh,
I know. Yeah, right. Mahomes can do no wrong. Even he ends
that was
his
almost
poor
going to be a
receiver
topic
season.
that I was going to talk. That I was going to mention.
That's a rough one.
Oh my god!
But,
he totally ruined his best receiver.
I know, but no, it's. Whatever. The league loves them. They want them to three-peat. So we'll move on. So the other big story is the swapping of the Ravens and Bills, pretty much. The Bills got thwomped Monday night. There's no question.
There's no way better way to describe that.
I mean, the first play from scrimmage for the Ravens was an 87-yard rumble by Derrick Henry. So that pretty much set the tone for the whole night. The Bills
for the
defense,
most part, he was untouched on that play.
He was untouched on that play. No one ever caught him. The Bills have a problem in the middle of the field right now, and it's exacerbated by all of their linebackers are hurt, and they have one of their safeties was hurt.
Oh, and Von Miller's a scumbag.
Yeah, and now
he's been playing,
but he didn't even do anything
anymore.
in that game. So,
not playing anymore.
Yeah, he was great the first 3 weeks, and then a no-show pretty much that game. So anyway,
that's probably true, Steve.
The Ravens look great, and you need a specific type of defense to defend against them. The Bills never.
To be fair, the Ravens looked great against the Bills. They haven't really looked great this year, but
yeah,
they look pretty well against.
And I mean, I think the Bills just are not built to play a team like that. But if they meet in the postseason, they're going to have to, right? Like the Ravens are probably going to win their division. So because the Bengals are disappointed.
You been politicking for Devontae Adams, Pete?
I mean, I'd like it. I wouldn't say no. All right, so let's go down the list here. Green Bay is moving up. They're looking better and better. Apparently, they didn't really miss too much of a step.
Even after a loss.
Love is back. Yeah, I think.
Christian Watson's out.
Christian Watson is out.
Tucker Kraft is good.
Yep. The Eagles, I have collapsing because they had a terrible loss. I didn't move them too far down, though. I don't want to overreact. So that's pretty much the story there in the top. The Commanders, I have a little lower than usual, but that's another big story. They moved way up, and they're going to keep moving it. They keep winning. They're going to keep shooting up this board. So keep going.
They're an arena football team. That's what they are.
Right.
They're scoring all the points.
I know. You keep going, Commanders. Do your thing. Broncos have looked pretty decent, but I'm a little hesitant to move anybody up. Cowboys, just disappointing season.
Won.
Yeah, Bengals moved up too. We'll see how that goes. If they can sustain
get
it.
Fired.
The Bears woke up, but they're still towards the bottom. Jets, losing 7-9 they just look like the same Jets. Doesn't matter. I'm sorry.
So bad.
I feel so bad for Jets fans.
Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson stayed home.
Rodgers needs to just hang the cleats up.
Yeah, the Jets are Charlie
Aaron Rodgers is
Brown.
old.
Charlie Brown with Lucy holding the football and says,
Right.
"Don't worry, I won't pull it away this time."
They're gonna play the Pats again soon. They'll look better.
We'll see. So pretty much.
again.
Giants I have moving up quite a bit just because of one
They're gonna
person.
get stomped by the Vikings on Sunday morning.
But Malik
Big
Neighbors' ridiculous performance alone has
He's probably not going to
given
play this week.
them
We
hope.
just talked about that.
Right, concussion. So,
I
but
think he was rookie of the year. Really,
a lot of
above Jaden Daniels too.
yeah. So my final
Jaden Daniels is going to continue to be better than him.
Saying a lot.
So my final thing, and it'll be quick.
They will always give it to a quarterback over a wide receiver.
They will, unfortunately.
So my final thing here, going why you see the Giants, Patriots, Titans, Panthers all kind of moving up. Panthers and Titans, it's simple. They're not relying on bad quarterbacks anymore. I mean, yes, they're not great, but they've actually instilled quarterbacks that know how to throw the football, so they're not in the bottom. But Jacksonville and Miami.
Kyle Pitts just caught a pass.
Oh my god. So the reason all those teams towards the bottom kind of moved up a little bit.
Can we talk about the shocking drop of the Miami Dolphins, Pete? I think that's the most surprising thing on your power.
All right, so that was my last thing, which, yeah. Sorry, they're hopeless unless Tua comes back, and he's a big question mark right now.
Yeah. You lose your number one and your number two quarterback.
I think they're having fans throw it now in Miami.
Yeah, like they're on their third string. Like there's talk of tanking at this point already by fans, so that's why they're 32. The 0-4 team is above them, if that gives you any indication.
Lower than the lowly New York Giants. Whew.
Yeah.
And the Patriots.
All right, so guys, with whatever time we have left, which probably isn't much because it took way too long to ramble through that.
We are out of time, but you have a question.
All right, quick thing. Anything you find shockingly off? Any team that you're like, that's way too low or way too high? Or did I get it in the ballpark?
I think it's close. Besides, the amount of skill in Miami, besides at quarterback, is surprising to see them at 32, especially under New England, Carolina, and New York, which are clearly the worst teams in the league.
I think Tua's coming back, so it's
Tua's
like
coming
he might
back.
not come back next week.
He's on IR, but he's going to come back.
Well, when he comes back and they win games again and he proves he can handle it, I'll move him back up.
What I was going to point out is this is week 5 rankings. They will lose this week because no one
will
they
playing the Patriots.
We'll see.
It's a battle of mediocrity.
Right. You no longer have Belichick there, so there's that. But we'll see.
I maintain from last week that I am unsure how the Bengals are 1-3 because they played these two very good teams tight. They won one, and they're somehow 1-3. I mean, it's like, I don't understand it.
They're an enigma.
They didn't give up one punt against the Commanders.
Right.
Well, the Commanders, I also maintain, are a very good team.
Yeah, Bengals, it's their defense is letting them down.
You're still a professional NFL team. You should at least give up a punt.
Yeah.
I mean,
this isn't Madden, okay? That was a John Madden game.
Well, you know what? That's why I have them at 16, because they could go any direction. They're right smack in the middle.
I think maybe San Francisco's a little low.
I'm being a little cautious just until. But as they get healthy and keep winning, they'll go up.
McCaffrey is hurt. Yeah, McCaffrey's hurt.
But Jordan Mason is playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're missing McCaffrey.
He's not Christian McCaffrey though.
What a great pickup for them.
Yeah, I mean, out of his mind he's playing.
Mason's just a heck of a backup. He's just really filled the spot. Serviceable. I know that they're not doing incredibly well, but I mean, he's done a pretty good job.
And then, I mean, the Niners are coached so well that third string nobody, Jawan Jennings, scored 3 touchdowns in the first half 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
scored 43 fantasy points. Like, I mean, that guy was unbelievable.
Insane.
Insane. He had an insane game. It's probably the biggest offensive game that I've seen from a third string wide receiver literally ever.
But all it's going to take for the 49ers to rocket back up this list is one of the teams above them to have one more slip up. Like Eagles are kind of on their last.
I don't think they're better than the Steelers, but I think they're better than the Eagles.
I think they're better than this. I think they will be better than the Steelers when they're fully healthy and we start to see chinks in the Steelers' armor.
And I think the Eagles have another really serious problem besides all the injuries.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
All right. Anyway. And with that,
it's go time.
The power rankings are done. You can view this list again, and if you have any comments on it, check it out at iftheseballscould-talk-pod.com/NFL Power Rankings.
I think we could really find a free version of the Power Rangers song. It's so old.
I mean, maybe. It's possible.
We would like to thank
All
one
right.
of this week's fake sponsors, Blaze Strap Athletic Supports. John, don't laugh. Stay supported with Blaze Strap Athletic Supports. From knees to elbows, our straps keep you stable so you can keep dominating. Blaze Strap. Hold strong. Play longer.
Ooh.
Only on the weekend.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes, ChatGPT suggested that one. All right, everyone.
Jesus
shall we
Christ,
kick
that's so
off the
funny.
shindig?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to do any songs. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Pete.
Oh.
First topic.
It is time for the first topic. Duh.
Nice job.
So after 4 full weeks, we, like many other shows, are ready to overreact to NFL rookie performances. The first rounders that included Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, Bo Nix, Brock Bowers, among others, and of course many other rookies. So everyone, what NFL rookies have been the biggest surprises and or disappointments?
I think that the better part of the football journalism world will say that Jaden Daniels is CJ Stroud. I mean, he's the guy this year.
Well,
And
you
I
said it
think
last
that-
week.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that he's having probably the best on paper year. I think
He's having potentially a better year because CJ Stroud, it took him a while to get going.
I think that Marvin is waking up, but I think he's going to hit a ceiling kind of fast and realize he's on the Arizona Cardinals. I think that Caleb is still kind of a disappointment, which is surprising. The Bears are waking up a little, but they're still not that good, which means that Dunze is still kind of a disappointment.
Dunze, I think, has been a big disappointment. But to be fair, I
Bowers
think
is
Caleb is just
probably
he's
a
a rookie.
top 5 tight end, so that's kind
But
of
they're not
exciting.
using him. They're not using him at all. That's the
They're
that's the
not,
problem.
but he seems like he's playing well. Neighbors is what everybody expected him to be, but the Giants are also
I think
terrible.
he's been better than
Yeah.
people expected personally.
But what's interesting is he's performing better probably than Harrison and Dunze, which I don't think everybody expected. What do you guys think?
Can't disagree, right? With Daniel Jones is not the quarterback, right? And the fact that he can even get him anything to work with, and Neighbors is making
Fuck that guy.
a lot of magic out of grass clippings. I guess this is going to be a new saying. I don't know. I've
Grass
never.
clippings.
Neighbors is doing a lot of work with
The game they won, the touchdown in the end zone, that was a bad throw. And the game last week that they lost, I saw somebody break it down. There were so many throws where Neighbors got open because he's incredible, but the throws were bad. So there were a lot of big gains that were actually missed touchdowns. And you could say, oh, well, he threw that big 40-yard pass. Well, that pass should have been a touchdown. So I think we're still getting handcuffed by Daniel Jones and the fact that he's just not very good. We're gonna talk about that.
And it's
the best we've got, right, for the Giants.
yeah. Unless
Drew Lock's not the guy. But I know somebody who
there's
can play
there's
football.
someone sitting there, right? just someone just waiting for their opportunity.
Waiting and waiting.
Mr. President of the Tommy DeVito fan club over there.
That's right. That's actually why I moved them as far up as I did, just of the like
Tommy
how-
DeVito factor.
Right, there's kinetic energy and
Tommy
potential
DeVito
energy.
factor.
There's like actual ratings and potential ratings, and the Giants, I'm leaning on their potential ratings if Tommy DeVito comes in.
But the
Instant.
question is, does Tommy DeVito still have the agent?
Oh, I hope so.
Obviously.
Yeah, I think isn't it his uncle?
Everybody.
You're not
I want
a
to see the
C-list.
pinstripe suit and
I mean-
You're
fedora.
not a C-list NFL player unless you have a skeezy agent.
He can't move on from that agent anyway because then he'll get a knock on the door by some very important people.
You get it.
Hey.
You get a horse head in his bed, Pete.
You don't like that guy? Yeah,
You can offer, you can't refuse.
that's right.
So someone that I didn't mention in the intro, PFF actually ranked. Going back to the Commanders, Ladd McConkey as the number 3 rookie this year.
He's been very good actually. Yeah, and I mean,
Funky.
yeah.
He had a lot of
He got a
things
nice
coming in.
touchdown this week too, right? Sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he had a lot of hype coming in. I think he faltered the first couple of weeks, but he's a rookie. But yeah, I think he's starting to find his feet, and we're gonna see a lot of action with him. The Chargers really need him to step
And the
up.
Chargers
Yeah.
look great, by the way.
They're much stronger than I expected them to be this year. And I mean, I guess I should have known, like, Harbaugh's a big coach upgrade. So
Harbaugh knows how to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
And that's something the Chargers haven't had. They've had the talent. They just haven't had a coaching to put it together.
He got the best not name running backs in the whole league. Like Dobbins is having a great year.
Yeah.
Like,
he essentially drafted the Baltimore Ravens.
dude,
Not only do they have,
it's not a bad idea.
Not only do they have J.K. Dobbins, but they also have the Gus Bus. But let's talk about their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, again, former Baltimore Raven.
Yep. Yeah. And
I think they're in a really good place. And Herbert's still very good. I mean,
yeah, I don't think his ceiling is as high as a lot of people initially thought, but he's still very good.
Larry McConkey is on the Chargers.
Yeah,
I said
Chargers.
Commanders, didn't I?
We're still talking about the Chargers.
We know what you meant.
I apologize.
We are.
It's okay.
No, I mentioned Commanders. I meant to say Chargers.
Oh, yeah. No, we knew what you meant, though. It's all good.
But yeah, I mean, Jim Harbaugh just knows how to win, right? He knows how to win football games. He's done it wherever he's gone before he gets kicked out because he's a pain in the ass.
Peter, are you eating dinner?
And he can legally cheat now.
He can legally cheat now.
Nobody cares. It's the NFL. And
there's still tampering rules in the NFL, but
tomatoes.
He ain't
The ball's inflated. It's not inflated. It's fine.
All right, shall we?
We shall once Pete's done eating.
Sorry, my apologies, guys. It was a.
Let me find the next topic.
A lot before this episode.
While he's doing that.
Next topic.
I had a bunch of them in my head the other day, and I forgot to write them down. And now I don't remember what they are.
It's all good, man. It's all
Hooray
good.
for old age.
So actually, I do have one disappointment. If I could just jump in on this one.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I think that is Terrion Arnold, cornerback, 24th pick overall by the Detroit Lions, is leading the league in most pass interferences
penalties,
as well as most interference yards. And I'll tell you, the Detroit Lions do not need their 24th pick doing these things if they want to get themselves back into the NFC Championship. I think the Detroit Lions have had some good momentum coming into the season, but unfortunately I don't think they're going to make it back. I think they're going to be hard pressed to see the playoffs this year. I think
they looked really good on Monday, though.
I don't know. I still have them ranked pretty high.
I know, but the Lions, right? I can't have faith in them.
Yeah, you're just like, I don't know. I mean, did you see Dan Campbell felt really bad as he gave away the game ball, and then he realized that Goff was 18 for 18, had a perfect night.
Perfect game.
And caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
And caught a touchdown.
It's like the best game of his career.
Yeah.
I think they'll be just fine. But you're right, though. That is something they should watch. And I mean, they should not keep him out on the field if he's going to be like that. Seems like he needs some time to learn.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the big difference. The acceleration of the speed between college sports and professional sports is so aggressive.
That's a big difference.
And
yeah.
There's a lot of kids that aren't ready for it. And
the cerebral part too. It's much more complicated, I think, too, right, than college for a lot of even defensive schemes, right? There's a lot, way more checks, way more things, way more changes, way more things to watch on the line.
Baker just got spun around on a sack, and he may have twisted his ankle.
Ooh, yeah, that doesn't look good.
But John will be happy. Field goal attempt.
Chase McLaughlin, baby.
Yeah. All right. So do we need a next topic thing, or Mark, do you got it?
No, we did it while you ate.
Oh, sorry. All right.
I did a thing. That was weird. Anyway,
it's okay.
Guys, we're going to get right into it because it needs to be talked about. Another week and another sad loss by the New York Football Giants. The 2015 loss to our mortal enemies, the Dallas Cowboys, is now the 7th straight time and the 14th in 15 games the Giants have lost to them. So besides a scary concussion at the end, Malik Neighbors was again a positive takeaway from the game, pulling in 12 receptions for 115 yards, and is now the wide receiver 4 in the league on multiple ratings charts. The Giants also had total yards for versus the Cowboys, 303 to 293 in a much longer time of possession, 35 minutes to 24. So what happened? Did the Giants win that game with literally anyone else under center? Do we expect Daniel Jones to play out the season in the starting role? And of course, is it time for the Italian stallion, Tommy DeVito?
I mean, yes, for that last question. Emphatically. In case of emergency, break Italian glass, right?
I mean, at
The
least
Italian glass.
Yes.
it'll at least keep New Jersey happy.
Right.
There's so many problems in New York, and the problems are all across the field. But I think that the main problem is that the defense is in kind of an okay place, and the skill players are in kind of an okay place. But it's just Tommy DeVito can't make pressure throws. He can't make leading throws. He just can't make throws. And they're so concerned about him and how bad he is that they're playing this really shitty conservative football that's never going to win. And they're never going to win with him. So they either need to let him throw and fuck up, or they need to just replace him. Just replace him. Be done with it.
Who's the number 2 quarterback? Is it Drew Lock or
Drew
is it
Lock.
DeVito?
Oh, yeah.
Drew Lock. We're not going to win with Drew Lock either.
No.
Drew
So
Lock
yeah,
is
Tommy
a
DeVito's
forever-
uncle.
He's a
or
forever
cousin.
sub, Drew Lock.
Right. Tommy DeVito or bust.
Tommy DeVito's cousin would have to knock off Drew Lock, and we're not condoning that. in
No,
order
What do you
for him
got,
to
Steve?
jump
What do you
ship.
got, Steve?
So I go to I look at Tommy DeVito and what he did last year, and I can't help but kind of compare him to a few other notable quarterbacks that everybody else said were just terrible. When they were on the field, performed, and I put Doug Flutie in that
Doug
position.
Flutie?
Yes.
Yes.
Like-
Good.
Yeah, he was magical to
Right.
watch.
Absolutely, like short, didn't have the arm, right? All of these negatives, but when he was on the field, he brought an energy with him that really helped propel teams, and they played incredibly well around him.
Yeah, they loved
I
the
think I
guy.
see a similar thing. Yeah, and I see the same thing with Tommy DeVito, and I also feel Tim Tebow is a similar type of quarterback.
No.
Again,
I don't know.
yes, yeah, not the same, not a very good quarterback, but at all. But people did rally around him when he was his first few years when he was in Denver. Those teammates around him really rallied around him. Now, unfortunately, they ran him out of Denver, and then he ended up in Tampa Bay. Was it? I think, if I remember right, and then it just went all downhill.
The tight end.
But
Yeah, he should have just
Right,
been a
yeah.
tight end from the start. He probably would have had a decent career.
Could have been a
Probably
Taysom
would've.
Yeah,
Hill.
that's
But-
true.
yeah,
He was
Oh,
prototype
that's a good
Taysom
point.
Hill before Taysom Hill existed.
yeah. But I just feel like when you have a quarterback that can bring some good energy, I think you're going to see some
And
things happen.
the
You're just gonna
thing
move-
in
Yeah,
those 3
that's-
games,
yeah, that
the
is
3 games
possible.
he won, and then he made all the defensive backs really angry, and they all kicked his ass. Those 3 games he won, though, you could see that the receivers and the skill players really kind of gelled with him in a way that they just never did with Daniel Jones. And guys like Wan'Dale Robinson, who was a wide receiver 1 with Tommy DeVito, like ridiculous, right? And Saquon played great. And I mean, just like you think about a guy who's as high energy as Malik Neighbors, and I know I've said this for a while, but like I think they play great together.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the Giants are so desperate right now that they are talking to, get this name, forever veteran sub CJ Beathard. What a shitty name for a quarterback, right? CJ Beathard. That's the guy they're talking to.
I
Right
believe
now.
it's pronounced Bethard.
No, it's Beathard. CJ Beathard. I did
Might be
mispronounce it on purpose.
It might be spelled beat hard.
It's Beathard. CJ Beathard. I know it's Bethard. I don't give a shit.
Doesn't
It's a
matter
shitty
now.
name for a quarterback.
Yeah.
It's like Kenneth Gainwell. Who sometimes gains well, but
It's
mostly
the
doesn't.
opposite of Gainwell.
Right, yeah.
CJ always gets beat.
Your name is
hard.
deceiving. Oh, no.
That's who they're talking to. The Giants are so absolutely fucked. And it's because many years ago, they decided to build a team around a running back when that wasn't the way to build a team.
And then they
anymore.
traded
Saquon
said
Barkley-
running back when he was still in his prime.
Yep. And then traded said running back when he was still in his prime. So
Yeah.
they tripled down on getting the prototype Eli Manning from Duke of all fucking places to try to continue. And I mean, it's so short-sighted and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I can't how bad they're and they're going to be bad for a long time now because they have to rebuild the whole team.
Well, does Manning
And this is
Jr.
where-
give you hope for next year? But I mean, they're going to have to be.
Archie's too young. They're not going to draft Archie.
Not the
He's
real
too-
Manning.
He's too young.
Yeah.
Or Arch. They're not going to draft Arch next
Arch.
year because he's too young.
Yeah,
There's a
Arch
guy
has-
next year.
I heard that he was going to be eligible
draft.
next year, though.
Oh.
No.
No, because you need 3 years after high school in order to be eligible for the NFL.
Okay. I
And
thought it was sophomore
and
year, but-
he was redshirted his first year.
Gotcha.
They are looking at Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck is a pretty good fit for most teams. I think Carson Beck will be one.
That
of the top
Georgia?
Georgia, yeah.
Hey, you know what? Throw him out to the Wolves, and if that doesn't work out, then you can get Arch Manning.
I mean, I think there's another former Georgia quarterback that's available, right? Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett's never going to play in the NFL. He's too short and too old.
Mm.
The Rams are just like, it's all right. I think he had a mental breakdown last
Is he
year.
still on the Rams?
Yeah, he's still on the Rams.
Oh, really?
He played a couple preseason games.
Did he?
He didn't do well.
Hmm.
He probably cleans. He probably cleans Matt
All
Stafford.
right. So to end this segment, what is your record prediction for the Giants this year?
1-16. They ended up winning one. I thought 0-17, but 1-16.
Well, they're not the worst team in the NFL.
What did you say, Steve?
3 wins.
3 wins.
3-13 or 3-14? 3-14.
I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to give them 4 wins.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
great.
the fucky part, right? They went and they fucked up last year, and the power of Tommy DeVito made them fuck up their tank season,
Mhm.
and they were all the way down to 6 or whatever.
I mean, well, that's the thing. If you get what you want and Tommy DeVito comes in, will they win a few more games?
They might.
They might.
Do we want to do a Scotch bet on whether or not Tommy DeVito plays this year?
Oh.
I'm gonna take too much scotch from you this season, so it's all good. It's all good.
We owe
Already
you
won.
one.
Yeah, I'm one in, and the other one isn't over yet.
Which one's the other one?
The
Giants
who
and
gets more
Patriots?
wins, the Giants and
Yeah.
the Patriots. We're tied right now, so we'll see what happens.
We are tied.
I'm at time.
I love Scotch.
I love scotch too.
Scotchy, Scotch.
Scotch in my belly. For the next topic.
That was
I was
good.
going to say, I believe San Diego's German for the next topic.
Oh yes,
Oh, nice.
that is so much better.
That was good.
Maybe we'll just do movie quotes as opposed to songs from now on.
Movie
Anyway,
quotes.
so
Remember that one
3
episode-
seasons ago, Jalen Hurts was on top of the world in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs and arguably the best player on the field that night. Fast forward to this season, and he's now on his 3rd offensive coordinator in the last 3 years and has turned the ball over at least once in the last 9 games, which almost equals a streak by former Eagles quarterback Randall Cunningham, who did it
Oof.
10 times between the 94 and 95 seasons. Now, another quarterback who has a somewhat similar story was in Foxborough very recently until he got traded to be the backup in Jacksonville behind another $50+ million quarterback. So, everyone, after Jalen Hurts' latest downfall, can he be diagnosed with Mac Jones syndrome?
Mac Jones syndrome.
I mean, Philly's kind of doing him dirty, right? 3
You know what?
OCs in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I gotta say, man, I think Sirianni might be the problem.
I wouldn't call
He's
that
not
Mac
getting
Jones.
along with Jalen.
I wouldn't call that Mac Jones syndrome, but like Mac Jones treatment, maybe.
There's something going on over there, right?
Yeah, there is definitely something going on.
That's
And
not.
he was very adamant on his last press conference because this is their bye week, and there was a reporter that asked them outright. It's like, "Oh, are you and Nick going to talk about this?" And he says, like, he essentially just said, "We'll see," or I don't
mean,
know.
it's
He was showing a lot of frustration in his face.
I mean, sure, AJ Brown is hurt, sure, and Jalen is playing poorly, but like, their team is still incredible on paper, right?
Is he though? Like I looked up his stats. He's got a QBR that's higher this year than last year, and his completion percentage is 68.2 versus 65.4.
What's his yards per dropback though? Because that's a big thing for
not as much.
QB, right?
Then you get that deep, right?
But when you're missing your top 2 receivers, if anyone is missing their top 2 receivers,
Right.
they're probably going to suck.
Yeah, there's a reason in a season where tight ends have been almost universally bad, and Goddard is like their best, or like the best one by far, and it's because he's the only target that's like out there. I mean, yeah, Saquon has been keeping them in games, single-handedly, but
that's the thing.
he
You
lost
have
him a game too
Saquon
with one
Barkley.
drop.
Everybody drops
Yeah.
the ball.
Yeah, except for that one play.
High five, Steve.
You have Saquon. You have some other really good running backs that why don't you put them as wide receivers because they're pretty athletic, like Gainwell.
Yeah.
He's been primarily used as a goal line back.
He has not gained well in this system.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
But yeah, there's a whole lot of just it's just a big mess in Philadelphia right now, right?
Do we feel like, and what we said before the season started, do we feel like they're missing the presence of Jason Kelce?
I mean, that's definitely hurting them in the short term. I don't know. There were a lot of times where they got blown up in the middle or it was a bad snap.
They're still doing pretty well with the tush push.
Yeah, but that's not
that's
not the only job of an offensive line.
No, I know.
But just like
but how much did he put in
time
the
to
locker room?
throw and all that stuff. And I mean, Jason Kelce could double team guys or take out big guys by himself. He would get double teamed all the time.
I mean, Hurts has been holding on the ball a little bit more because his receivers aren't really getting open. And the longer you hold the ball, the sooner a DB or I'm sorry,
sooner some D-bag goes and gets you.
Yeah, so it's gonna swat that ball out of you or just try to separate you in half.
Yes.
Wow, Falcons just scored another touchdown.
By some other dude that was not Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I have Darnell Mooney on my bench. Go me.
Is he a new receiver this year? I forget.
No,
I don't think he was one of the rookies. Anyway, yeah.
So how do we fix the Eagles?
I mean, is it coaching? Do you think? I mean, like what? I mean, they got to get healthy for starters.
Yeah, that would help.
Somehow they lost ever since. Their mojo is gone ever since they had the greatest luck in the universe to beat the Bills last year. It was like, didn't they lose almost every single game after that week? They were like 11-0.
Oh yeah, they were awful after a while.
And they beat Buffalo on like a 59-yard field goal into an absolute downpour against those swirling winds, and somehow that kick went through perfectly. Like, did they make a deal with some evil spirit, and they were like, okay, but you're going to suck for a while after this. So almost kind of what it seems like. They've been cursed ever since. I think they've lost most of their games after that week, and this year they haven't really. They've been shaky.
I mean, like a 17-game losing streak or something. Yep.
Yeah, but their defense imploded last year from the inside. From the inside, right? I remember pretty vividly.
Plays for a while.
Yeah,
when you rely on Matt Patricia to make the play call, then you're not doing so well.
I mean, he did great in New England, but that's because he had Belichick masterminding that defense in the background. But so what is the case of their coordinator? Was it Patricia this year or last year?
No, he's not coaching this year.
Okay.
Patricia's podcast with Belichick. They're doing a thing on YouTube. In my opinion, I think it's essentially an interview for next coaching job.
His next job, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, do we put any of this on Kellen Moore? I mean, Kellen Moore has now kind of failed a little bit in Philadelphia, and he failed a little bit on the Chargers last year. Like, Dallas didn't want to keep him around. Maybe Kellen Moore's not a very good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Maybe. Or maybe they just need to get healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think the same thing with the Jets OC. Wow, I can't think of his name now.
I mean, AJ comes back in there better, right? But I think the one thing that we're seeing is the really great teams. It doesn't matter who's catching the ball.
No, but I mean, you got to have elite QB talent to make that work, and like that was something we talked about a little bit last week.
The best teams have that.
Yeah,
they have that. I mean, the Bills getting blown out by the Ravens was a different story, but I mean, your wide receiver room is very poor, but Josh Allen makes them look great. And
I mean,
the Chiefs are 4-0. The Chiefs are 4-0, and their top guys like Hollywood Brown, like the guys on paper that are the best, are not playing. Hollywood's out.
And I mean, half that game Rice wasn't playing either, right?
And half that game Rice wasn't playing.
It's been ugly, but and Mahomes has not been playing great this year by any stretch, but he's done enough to get him to win every week.
But I mean, you take a team that is coached incredibly, who has an incredible offensive line, a very good defense, and a very good quarterback. It shouldn't matter. They're all NFL receivers. They're all very good. Some are better, but they're all very good. And then like the top guys, aren't on teams that are winning.
Right. But to Mark's point too, though, I mean, if you don't have a coordinator that can make the right play, get the right game script in there to exploit the weakness of that particular team, right? You can't scheme guys open, no matter how talented they are. Like, you're not going to win in this league. The competition's too tight.
The most surprising offensive teams this year, like the Bucks, are an incredible offensive juggernaut, as are the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
They're teams that are. I mean, the Saints don't really have a lot of great. I mean, Chris Olave is good, but he's not great.
Yeah.
And they don't even have a very good quarterback. Derek Carr is completely mid. I mean, and they're just scoring points left and right. So,
I've always liked Derek Carr more than the average person, I feel like.
Me as well.
But like NFL side tangent. The NFL Combine where everybody was ripping on Derek Carr all season, and he goes and just kicks the shit out of all the other Pro Bowler QBs and all the skills competitions. And he's like, what?
He's a beast.
Yeah.
Total beast. Anyway.
Be a beast and mid.
Yeah, right. The problem is that it's one thing to do it,
Stop trying to be cool, John, and using all of that vernacular that the young kids
I know
using.
the words the kids know. And we're out of time, so let's move on.
All right.
He's my backup on my dynasty team, by the way.
Hmm.
Sing me a song, Mark, or give me a movie quote.
I got nothing right now.
Oh, I got one.
Of course you do. I know. I have faith in you, Pete.
All right. Taking away the moments that make up next topic.
You're the best, Pete.
I was like, song, Pink Floyd, lyrics, time, topic, go.
So good, man. All right, so we're going to talk about another sad sack of a team. There is a problem in Miami. It's a problem. And I know we talked about them last week, but with another massive loss to the previously winless Tennessee Titans on Monday, they'd often seem to be an absolute free fall, dropping universally to the bottom of a lot of Week 5 power rankings, including ours. The loss of starter Tua Tagovailoa in Week 2 is certainly a part of it. A part of the problem, with poor Tyler Huntley looking scared and confused and like he doesn't know how to play football. The idea was that the immensely talented skill players in Miami could have kept them afloat, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So, per ESPN, Tua is symptom-free, but will need to miss at least 2 more games being on IR. Does he play once he's eligible? And theoretically, at 1-5 going to Week 6 in the division with the Buffalo Bills, does it even matter?
Does it matter? I mean, it's a long season, right? So
yeah,
if Tua only misses two more games.
Here's the thing: you have now lost 5 games. The most you can win is 12 if you win the rest of them. That doesn't win you the division.
But they definitely looked awful with Huntley. I mean, but to be fair, though, I mean,
it was a third string option, though.
He's the third string, and they picked him up off the street like the week before the game.
They also look terrible with Skylar.
So how can you expect the guy that everyone just met a few days ago to be able to pass them the ball potentially 50 yards down the field to Tyreek Hill?
Organization.
I guess not everybody can be Joe Flacco.
No, but
you still need chemistry though with your receivers.
Here's the deal: it's $100 million organization. They have more money than God. They get profit sharing from the NFL, and they should have more than one quarterback who can play.
It's a multi-billion-dollar
They did
organization.
have more than they did. They had Skylar Thompson, and he got hurt.
They can't play. Okay.
Yeah, they
said it, but I'm just going to bring it up because the legend of Joe Flacco continues. Anthony Richardson went down, and the Indiana Colts won. And it's because Joe Flacco's a good quarterback.
Flacco can just go in and just play. But he's also a seasoned veteran.
183 yards and 2 touchdowns off the bench after breaking his hip with his kids. Dude is amazing.
Yep.
Allegedly, Richardson was okay to go back into the game, but it was a coach's decision for him not to let him back in.
Probably not aggravated.
So Flacco is not starting this week. It is going to be Richardson.
Richardson worries me though, man. Way too many injuries too quick.
He does.
Yeah.
He's reckless.
He
runs like Tua.
Right. There's a lot of potential there, but it's just, what are you doing, dude? Don't ruin your body too quickly.
Why can't these guys see their future in what's happening to Tua, and they don't learn?
I know. Yeah. That's a shame.
Maybe you got to learn from Tom Brady that, he played for 30 years seemingly, and he never got hit. I wonder if those are
Well.
related.
Another fucking field goal by Chase McLaughlin.
Oh man. I mean, Brady took his licks too,
So
but
exciting.
he somehow some of these guys just, I don't know, they're just built differently. They just
Comparatively speaking, though, he does not get hit as much as other people.
No,
and
no.
certainly not as hard.
no. There's only a handful of times where I've seen Brady get really, really smacked. But to his credit, he got back up. But
Well, I think that we are in this age of hybrid quarterbacks, and
they're definitely more risky. Like
they're
Tua,
definitely
right?
more
Like
risky.
right. He should have slid it. He's like, I got to get this first down, and it cost him.
You can be a running quarterback and be fine. Like Russell Wilson for a while was a running quarterback, but was also one of the best sliders. I mean, yeah, he did play baseball.
There you
But
go.
he's had a long career, albeit he's not the best right now, but he's had a long career because he slid.
Sure. I mean, look
What
at
did you say, Steve?
Oh, Steve.
We lost you there.
I need to get
Say
you
it
to
again.
repeat that again.
We lost your mic, bud.
No, your mic. Hold on. I can see you talking. Can't hear you.
All right. While we're waiting for that, Patrick Mahomes.
You guys,
Oh,
Oh, there
you're
you
back.
go. Go ahead.
For a
Go ahead.
second.
there he goes.
No, not yet. I think it's internet.
you keep talking.
All right.
Ah,
Those goddamn planes.
sorry, Steve.
The
plane, the plane.
I
goddamn
can tell you that I
planes.
didn't have this.
Oh
right.
man. All right.
Is he available still out there?
Who's
Patrick.
So Patrick Mahomes, another quarterback
sorry?
that slides. And the one time he didn't slide at the, it was a play 2 years ago it was like 4th and 1, and he went to dive ahead and he got hurt.
Yeah, he's such a
Or last week where he tore Rashi Rice's ACL.
Or yeah,
Right.
last week when he decides that he's going to make a tackle and he accidentally tackles Rasheed Rice's leg.
yeah. Who do you think you are, Josh Allen? Jeez, no.
Jesus
But no,
Christ.
Mahomes has his way of
Right.
tiptoeing out of bounds off the sideline that pisses me off because he always gets his first down and somehow it like goes and you're like, how is nobody hitting him? Where is everybody? And then he's
Maybe
like,
he's
15
making that noise and scaring them.
He might be.
Mario run.
It really might be.
I mean, I think that's the noise I would make, only a lot more girly. I think if 300-pound men were chasing me, I'd be like,
Yes. But I mean, yeah, look at Lamar. Like that's an example of a gutsy runner that he QB runs all the time, but he's smart about it. And yes, that he has been banged up quite a bit over the years, but I feel like a lot of those injuries were not from running. They were like pocket tackle, like sack injuries, right?
Sack injuries.
Not to his sack, but you know what I mean.
let my audio change a little bit. Steve, can we hear you now? No, I think we're gonna have you toggle on your settings again. Oh wait, hey.
We're not gonna sit on it. Steve's gonna futz, and it's fine.
Wait,
Yep.
Wait, I heard a wait.
I think it might have to do with his internet. Goddamn planes.
Oh yeah.
Can't get this motherfucking sound after these motherfucking planes.
And we're at time.
All right.
What a great way to end.
I know. All right. Steve's going to keep working on his audio here, and we need to go to the next topic. Anybody got any ideas?
Before that, we'd like to thank another fake sponsor, Peak Brew Recovery Coffee. Fuel up and recover faster with Peak Brew Recovery Coffee. Caffeine for your mind, protein for your muscles. A perfect post-game pick-me-up. Peak Brew. Sip your way to success. That's a lot of P's.
That was a.
I was gonna say I really like all that alliteration.
Mark, that was an excellent delivery on that. My one critique is there was a
Was I popping?
No, you were perfect, but the missed opportunity as the brand name. Why did they not just add the and make it Peekabrew? Peekabrew. Sorry, I'm a new dad. Just don't mind me. I'm just gonna go in the corner.
It's all good, bro.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Wait. Now we lost Mark. We're losing everybody.
No!
Wait, there you
No,
are.
you didn't lose me.
Okay,
No,
you
it's
did.
a fact. I went too high pitch.
I'm always here.
Okay. Ooh, somebody was hurt badly in the game here before you jump into the next topic. Number 0 on the Bucks, it looked like. I don't know. They have very similar colors. It went to commercial before I could see who it was.
I'm gonna take it. Steve, do you want to? How are you doing with your sound?
Oh no.
At least you hear
So you
us.
you try to toggle back and forth and didn't work, huh?
You can't sit on it too long, guys.
All right, Steve, just keep trying to play around with some things, or just go.
I did not set up a triple window, guys, so you're just gonna have to deal with
Hold on,
this.
he's probably gonna come back. He probably just restarted Discord.
Yeah.
We'll wait for him to come back.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'll be split in between 2 screens. Don't mind
Do we
me.
have a technical difficulty screen?
I mean, the three of us should just continue. But
I'm gonna have to make that.
Well, is the live stream kind of messed up with the 3 screens right now?
Slightly.
The audio isn't, so continue, please.
All right. So I'm gonna bum us out a little bit, unfortunately.
Aw.
It's been a solemn time for some of our childhood icons who have recently passed away, including Maggie Smith, who played Professor McGonagall in Harry Potter, and athletes like Dikembe Mutombo, no, and Pete Rose. We just missed discussing this topic with the Cincinnati cohorts, but for those who didn't know, Pete Rose is the all-time hits leader for Major League Baseball, even after the Negro League stats were included earlier this year. Sounds like a surefire Hall of Famer, right? Well, not if you decided to gamble on sports, according to the baseball brethren.
That's okay. He had a lifetime ban. They can let him in now.
True, he's no longer alive.
So everyone, what celebrities that have passed away do we dearly miss, and should Pete Rose's Hall of Fame status change posthumously?
Yes.
They have much worse people in the hall, right?
I know, like that's the shitty part about it. It's
I
like,
understand that there's a morality clause
Dude,
in there, but come on, you have some shitty ass people.
There's a ton of
in the hall.
scumbags.
Dude, OJ Simpson is still in the
professional
NFL Hall of Fame.
That's football. We're talking about baseball.
But I mean, well,
Tough
but just
baby,
sports in
that's
general, right?
football.
But yes, I mean, all-time hits leader in the league, period. Like, that's not any condition, right? How is that not?
Well,
it's
the
just
same can
crazy.
be said about the all-time home run leader right now in
Oh.
Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds also not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but didn't they? I mean, it's not like Pete Rose. I don't know. Did he like?
And he's Did
Did
he
he
Barry
collaborate
Bonds was never
during the
proven
games to
guilty
make
of
sure?
taking- No. Barry Bonds was actually never proven guilty to take steroids.
Really? I thought he was. Okay.
He never came back with a negative steroids test.
He hit 73 home
Or,
runs.
I'm sorry,
I
positive.
was gonna say never negative.
Sorry, positive steroid test.
Okay, so then
Man, one of
that's
these days I'll learn how to talk.
that's all right. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of shitty then.
Yeah.
Well, the baseball writers, who are the ones that are in charge of the Hall of Fame voting, a lot of them are very old school, and a lot of them have that old school mentality. And they just, they only want a certain set of people to represent them. I don't know.
I hear
It's
Steve.
all weird. Like,
I'm back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Guess who's back?
Back, baby.
Back again.
He just IT'd the shit out of that computer.
So Steve, to catch up real quickly, we're talking about Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. Well, Mark, you can summarize it. It's your topic.
Oh, we're talking primarily about like celebrities or athletes that we
Passed
that
away
have passed on that
celebrities.
we kind of miss, but also
Yeah.
if Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame after his death.
Yeah, I mean, so my take on Pete Rose, yes, right? I think he should. But if he's not, then, or if you do, then Shoeless Joe's got to go in, right? And everybody else, right? Anybody else that's cheated in the game in any magnitude. And I think, like, the Hall of Fame should, if they're not going to let him in, I honestly think that this would be a really good business opportunity to, across the street, open up, like, the Hall of Shame. And then, like, support that and be like, we're going to honor these people, right?
It's
Like,
wire and marketing, bro.
Listen, everybody makes mistakes, you know. We
So the
forgive
worst
over here
people
on
in the
this
world that
podcast.
played baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, did Pete
But
Rose
I do
is
like. But
Did his betting stuff actually directly affect the games that he was playing in where he got these achievements?
No, he whenever he bet on a Reds game, he always bet them to win.
Right.
Okay, so right, it's nothing wrong with that, right? You're trying as hard as you can to win anyway.
Oh, it's
Right.
it's against the rules.
Here's the
Pete.
other thing, especially now with FanDuel and all of the gambling apps,
Yes.
right? Like, I'm sorry, but it's the game has changed dramatically, and I think that from the umpires, refs, or the on the field management of the game, right on up to the front office, is looking at it in a much different way. And I think that we're going to see a big change in sports in the next couple of years when more and more people start to just really glom onto this, if we haven't seen it already, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, we've mentioned this a lot on the show, but what's your thoughts on the morality of professional sports being in bed with FanDuel and DraftKings, and it still being like the most egregious sin to bet on sports as a professional sports player?
So here's my take on gambling. My grandfather owned a couple of businesses. He was a hell of a chef, and he came home one day and told my grandmother that they had to pack up the house and move because he lost it in a card game.
Oh shit!
Wow.
We don't gamble in my home, and we haven't. So I really hate gambling. I don't think it's a good thing at all. My father never did it, and he passed that down to us. He broke that chain, thankfully. So in terms of gambling, I think it's a bad thing to be doing. Like, if everybody wants to do like the office pool and those types of things, the squares at the Super Bowl, that's different. But when you start getting into really big money, where you can have control of any sort of outcome. I mean, you can make a prop bet. If you're Malik Neighbors, and I'm not saying, I'm just using the name because it's the first one the name popped into my head, right?
Sure.
But like, there's nothing saying that you can't just go off to the sideline, grab your cell phone, and place your own prop bet and be like, I'm going to get 3, whatever. Like,
Actually, there is a rule against that.
Right,
That's what Calvin really got in trouble for a couple years ago.
Well,
sure,
the
but
guy
right.
The guy in the NBA this last year that got in trouble for like accident. He was like, "Oh shit, I made a 3-pointer," and he bet against himself for making 3-pointers.
See that?
And you could tell, if you could tell, and he was like, "Oh, I got something in my eye. I'm gonna have to leave."
Yeah, that's kind of.
The NBA is like,
It's
you're fucking fired.
Right, it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen even more and more, and it really is a shame. But I don't think there's no way of stopping it. Pandora's box is open, and it's just going to be what it is.
Now, as someone who has gambled for a long time and has a pretty good idea of it and control over it, but I went on DraftKings for the first time this past Super Bowl to bet, and I gotta tell you, they are aggressive and it's predatory. I mean, and it's truly predatory in a way that they're like, hey, there's this cool promotion that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's this other cool promotion that we're doing. Why don't you just bet a little bit? It's okay. I mean, like, gambling is one of those things that if you have addictive personality, you have a problem with addiction, that you can get in a lot of trouble. Like, a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
but I also think there's also some science to it as well, right? Like, I appreciate people who are handicappers for horses, right? Like, there is that side, right? And it's no different than the stock market. You do a lot of research and you look at those things, right? Like, when you look at the way to make money out there, I think that you can do it. I just think that if you're in a back room and you're playing a card game and you're throwing the keys to the home on the table, and it gets to then who the hell are you playing with,
right?
Kind of thing. So that's where I get, and maybe FanDuel and DraftKings and stuff like that are a little bit different, but I can see people probably just more and more starting to fall down a hole and be able to.
It's just so easy to access those, right from your phone, right? And it's yeah.
Well, and so what they do is you buy tokens so that it doesn't seem like money.
See that?
I mean,
that should be
it's a game.
Yeah,
it's incredibly predatory, and I a person who does like to gamble realizes that right away. I'm just like, ugh.
Sure. I mean, casinos have. I mean, you talk about there's a science for betting smartly. There's a big science about betting or about these casinos and
always
things, and
wins.
how they set things up to make it always feel like you're going to win something or give you that hope or draw you in. Like even cents coming from slot machines, right? It's crazy the amount of meticulous like detail that goes into these things to try to just to hook those people that have that disposition where they're like, oh, you have a slight nod towards addictive gambling personality. We're going to take.
Every modern slot machine is a dopamine dispenser.
Yeah.
Lots of bright colors, lots of little games, lots of like bing, 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 bing. When you think about how digital they are, when you walk into just like the Saratoga Racino and you look at all the digital games, and you think about how it must be set up in the back, and you make yourself sick because you think about it, they probably just have a dial. They have a dial, and they can turn the dial from state minimums, which is probably like maybe a 98% return, something like that, to state maximums, which is probably, maybe 101 or 102, because they're always going to win. They're always going to win. And there is no way that you should convince yourself that they're not.
Yep.
Ever.
And Pete, in a couple of years, you're going to have that kid of yours, and he's going to be going, Dad, I got a birthday party to go to, and it's going to be at Chuck E. Cheese. And you're going to walk in there, and you're going to be like, holy shit, this is a kid casino.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds exactly the same, right? Right? Like you walk in, you're like, oh my gosh. It's like the same
lights and bells and shit that they make you buy.
They're like, they're grooming the kids to go into gambling later.
Yeah.
Anything for those tickets, man. One more round of Hungry Hippos. This time I'm going to get it.
Really use some Kool-Aid.
All right, real quick, because I know we're out of time.
Yeah.
The other part of this topic was what are some celebrities that have passed away that we miss? I'll get this started. Robin Williams. I mean, Robin Williams, I think is one of the all-time funniest people, and I miss him every day.
Yeah, and it's tragic too, just how how troubled he was, and I don't think anyone realized it until he was gone.
Anyone else?
George Carlin, but I mean, he was already pretty old.
Winnie Houston, great voice.
Mm-hmm.
Also troubled.
Yeah, there's the theme here.
Scott Weiland.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I've got one that's sports related. Kirby Puckett. The reason why I say it, so I was really fortunate when I first moved here. Yeah, when I first moved to Albany, I was really fortunate. The restaurant that I worked, I was a bartender at. They owned the catering contract for the Baseball Hall of Fame, so I got to bartend the Baseball Hall of Fame weekend and be there and serve drinks to name me a Hall of Famer, and I served him a drink. And Kirby Puckett was one of those guys that came up to the table, and his eyes were starting to go at that point. Like he wasn't really in the best of health. But I got a chance to know him a little bit, and he, I tell you, is one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And we just sat and we talked about just wiffle ball forever, and how much he was just like how he's loved to play now with his kids and stuff like that, or it was grandkids at that point.
That's super cool.
And just a super genuine person. But I can tell you some stories about some of those old codgers there, and who the real jerks were, and who the real good people were, and Kirby Puckett was definitely at the top of that list of good people for sure.
I've heard multiple people say that about Kirby.
Yeah.
You want to?
All right. Well, yeah. Let's move on.
All right.
Now that we've had a good cry.
R.I.P. James Earl Jones.
R.I.P. James Earl Jones. Oh, sad panda.
This is next topic.
As soon as you said James Earl Jones, that's what I was thinking of too.
Yeah. I had to.
So, guys, because it's topical, we have to talk about it, and we're going to jump completely away from the NFL and talk about the NBA. The New York Knicks have probably made the biggest move of the NBA offseason.
Surprised you waited this long.
Listen, man, it's exciting. I was saving it. And traded for possibly one of the best shooting centers, ex-Minnesota Timberwolves superstar Karl Anthony Towns. The cost was high, however, with the Knicks having to give up stars Julius Randle and playoff savior Dante DiVincenzo. The deal comes on the heels of sending most of their first-round picks to Brooklyn, acquiring another piece of the Villanova team in Mikal Bridges and another big man down low. The Knicks are certainly trying to find the missing pieces of the puzzle in their championship window, and on paper, the addition of Cat as well as Bridges feel like big wins. So, does this trade give the Knicks what they need to become contenders and pass the evil empire Boston Celtics? Or does the loss of both the outside shooting threat of DiVincenzo and the interior presence of Randall and Isaiah Hartenstein do too much harm defensively?
I'm going to have probably a very unpopular opinion because I think most people are applauding the trade for Cat onto the Knicks.
I also don't like it.
I do not like it. I think they got rid they got rid of some depth. They got rid of their best 3-point shooter. I did not realize this. He had the most threes for a Knicks player in history for a season.
Yep. Wow.
And you got rid of a really good defender.
He won that 76ers series. Dante DiVincenzo specifically won that series.
In a lot of respects, Karl Anthony Towns, or they call him Cat, is potentially DiVincenzo and Randall in one.
Yes. Probably the best 3-point shooting big man in the league right now.
I actually saw that. There were the guy on the Jazz, Lauri Markkanen, I think his name is,
and what
had
he does,
more threes than Cat.
And Josh Hart, he pointed this out. It allows them to spread the floor out a little bit.
Randall could shoot threes too, though, couldn't he?
Not like Cat.
Yeah, not like Cat.
And the problem is Randall is 6'10", right? 6'9".
That's true. Cat is a true 7-footer.
And Cat is a true 7-footer. And I think that one of the problems
These heights are ridiculous.
That the Knicks had is they were getting out heighted a little bit. And what you said all last season is the league is trending big.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that they thought that they needed that. And then so they re-signed OG Anunoby. Mikal Bridges is tall. And so Mitchell Robinson theoretically is coming back one day after fucking dude stomped his leg in the playoffs. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
And then Jalen Brunson's just going to play every minute of every game.
Jalen Brunson.
But I don't like this trade though. I don't like this trade for them because I think
it does seem like they're giving up a lot. Yeah.
What's interesting is Thibodeau, before he came to New York, was in Minnesota, and Cat does not like him.
No, Cat does actually like him.
He likes Thibodeau. I thought they were not. I mean, I thought that the whole scheme just didn't gel well. But
no, he didn't. I don't think the scheme did gel well for Cat, but they got along. Because I believe when he was introduced today, he actually did say how much he was looking forward to playing with Tibbs again.
Yeah. What's interesting, on the press day where the deal wasn't official yet, Josh Hart is just a big doofus. And he's like, he looks at the press secretary. He's like, oh shit, we got Cat. He was very excited. He was excited, even though he wasn't allowed to talk about it. I don't know. I am concerned about the depth. I am concerned about who's going to play the 2-guard. Because I don't know who's going to play the 2-guard. Is Josh Hart going to play 2? And then,
I don't know. That draft already happened? Never mind. I don't know.
They have McBride, who played pretty good in the playoffs, but is a kind of a journeyman, right? So I don't know. I agree. I think that they lost a lot of depth. I also agree that, I mean, DiVincenzo, probably Jalen Brunson's best friend, like in the actual world. I think he was in his wedding. So that's going to hurt a little bit. Josh Hart and now Bridges. I don't know if they were like close with Bridges, but DiVincenzo was apparently Brunson's freshman roommate when they were on the team.
Nova Knicks, right?
Nova Knicks.
But so Cat's obviously a very good player. I don't know if he's like a top 25 player, but he's very good. But you're right. He's more known to be on the perimeter, even though he's a 7-footer.
Yeah, right.
I think if the Knicks wanted a 7-footer, they probably should have looked up one of the Lopez twins. Yeah. Those guys love being down low and they play defense. I don't know if they're on a team. I mean, the last team that Brooke Lopez was on the Bucks, I think, and I don't think Robin Lopez played last year, but they're both 7-footers and they are known for their defense. And what does Tibbs like to do?
I also think that Cat's 250 million, 55 a year guaranteed contract is going to be a real weight. It's a real big weight that they just took on.
Well, don't talk to me about weights. I mean, we signed 2 fucking 60 million player.
Well, it's okay. You guys are going to go bankrupt, so you don't have to pay them.
I think Bezos wants to buy the Celtics.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, seriously.
Can you?
I don't know if that's true. Someone told me that.
Pete, what do you think about this basketball talk that you don't have any idea about?
I mean, from an outsider, very outsider perspective, it does seem like they're giving up quite a bit. It's like usually teams that chase one superstar but give up like half their depth or like half of players that are good players. It just
so they gave up two
makes
starters,
you really top heavy.
So a basketball starting lineup.
You need 5. Yep.
They gave up 2 starters for 1.
Yeah, that's losing too much.
This is the stereotypical New York sports deal.
Plus first round picks.
Yeah. No, the first round picks went, all of them, no players, but all of them went for Mikal Bridges, who will be a starter. So
Okay.
That was a different.
So it was 2 for 2.
Better hope he's a good starter.
But you cost yourself a lot of
well, they went for it this year. They went for it. They said, how many years does Jalen Brunson have MVP contention? They did the math, and they said, enough years that we need to go for it right now.
Well, and this is a trade that both teams wanted. The Timberwolves wanted to have more depth.
Well, the Timberwolves have been talking about trading Cat, because Cat, by the way, from New Jersey, I think his father works for the Knicks. Cat is a New York product, right? So they've been talking about this trade for a while, but the thing that held it up for all these years was Dante DiVincenzo. And the Knicks decided this year that this was the year that they were going to pull the trigger on it, which is crazy because the whole Nova Knicks situation in the last year's playoffs was really kind of very cool, very exciting, very marketable.
Story.
It was a good story. DiVincenzo played really well. He won them 2 or 3 playoff games on, heartbreak last minute ESPN Sports Illustrated cover shots, right? Like these are things that people talk about for a long time that he did. So I don't know. I like DiVincenzo. I will miss him. I am excited for a real center, which should be cool. Randall is a little too injury prone to be reliable for a full season. I think that me as a New York sports fan, as a Knicks fan, I think that
you'll like it if they're good, right? And they win.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's it, right?
I will obviously like it if they're good, but I think that the jury is still out for me, personally.
I mean, yeah.
Steve, do you like basketball? Do you like the Knicks? Are you a Knicks fan? Steve's like,
Albany Patroons?
Albany
The Patroons.
Until you die.
If there's any basketball that I do follow, it'd be local for Siena, but Syracuse, because I grew up near Syracuse.
Cool.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Pretty much. That's pretty much as far as it goes. I haven't followed pro in a long, long time.
$55 million contract for 2 of your best players and maybe the heart of your team. What do you think about that?
That's a tough sell.
Still doesn't compare to the Celtics, who got 2 $60 million players.
But I mean,
but hey, why not? They suck, right? So, the Knicks have not been good for a long time. I know they had a decent year last year, right? Like
they made a run.
They did have a playoff run, yeah.
They got tired.
But historically, yeah, but historically they've just not been well, and I think that they're just still continuously grabbing at straws, and instead of building, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I've watched from very afar. If there's any pro team I would root for, it's 100% the Knicks. I would not want to root for anybody else, but I don't root for them at all.
You don't have much hope for this.
And on that, we will move on because we're over time.
All right, I have a song prepared. The choices are Bonnie Tyler or Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins. Always Kenny Loggins.
Wait.
To hear the next topic.
Wait, back up and do it again.
Okay. To hear the next topic. Gonna take it right to John in the next topic.
Even though it's yours.
I know it's mine.
That was pretty sweet, though.
Right, if you grew up in the 90s and were an Adam Sandler fan, then you will most likely watched Happy Gilmore. For those that don't know, it was a movie about a failing hockey player who tried a slap shot like swing on the golf course, and many of us have maybe even tried it on the actual golf course. And he ultimately won the hearts of everyone, including the PR director of the tour, Virginia Bennett, played by the lovely Julie Bowen. And then it was announced that Adam Sandler would revive his role as Mr. Gilmore alongside rival Shooter McGavin, played by Christopher McDonald, and the aforementioned Julie Bowen. Now, there are also cameos by John Daly and Taylor Swift's beau, Travis Kelce, in it. As of now, this is set to be released on Netflix next spring. So, everyone, are we excited about the Happy Gilmore sequel, and will Mark finally get Netflix?
No.
Mark will not.
No,
get
for
Netflix.
both?
No, I think I'll watch it. I like a good remake, honestly. I like shitty movies.
Well, this is a sequel, not a remake. I mean, it's 30 years.
I mean, but it's an
since
IP
the other
remake.
one.
Who cares?
Okay.
Like, who cares?
Did you see
honestly.
the Beetlejuice sequel?
I did see the Beetlejuice sequel, but I didn't see the Beverly Hills Cop sequel. I like bad movies, but only when I have time for them. And I think maybe that's one of the problems in Hollywood right now is there's no original ideas. Everybody's just remaking shit.
I mean, without Bob Barker, how can you really do a sequel? Speaking of,
they
Take
don't
Back
have Chubbs
Last
either.
Time.
Yeah,
they dies.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have Chubbs either.
Yeah.
I think that
Carl Weathers, R.I.P.
But at least,
Travis
right.
Kelce will be fun.
John
But-
Daly is in it too, though. I actually didn't know that until just now.
They're teasing some
Okay,
professional
so-
golfers too. So that'll be interesting.
I'm gonna ask this question in a different way, or just put a point on it. What can this movie be that is interesting or funny or anything? Because it can't be a Happy Gilmore. We've already seen those jokes for 20 years with Adam Sandler. They're not funny anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Does he have some fresh
It's not-
material?
it's not
Right.
The 90s it's not the 90s anymore.
That's a
You
good
just
question.
can't make funny voices and have Dana Carvey show up.
You got to admit though, that was
love
pretty
Dana
funny.
Carvey.
That worked for a long time.
Or who's the guy who's I cut his fucking head off? Who's that guy?
Oh, that's
yeah.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. Yeah.
Can't have
Rob Schneider wasn't in Happy Gilmore though.
But like he shows
No.
up in all the fucking movies.
can do
and-
He
it.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it all night long.
Yes. Oh
mean, it's been a
no, we
while.
suck again.
It's been a
We
while
suck
since
again.
it's been a while since Adam Sandler has been done one of those movies with all his friends. Like,
But
That's but
let's
is it
think about it. We still remember all the stupid jokes,
right?
and they're not funny anymore.
Is that an era that should have ended in the time that they were like they were great
you
films
say,
in their
okay,
time?
Happy Gilmore 2. What does Happy Gilmore 2 do that is interesting?
great question. Unfortunately, there's really nothing out there that says what the plot is. I mean, it's going to take place approximately 30 years later.
I mean,
'cause
I
that's
guess
in real
he-
time.
Right. I mean,
What does he teach Andy Sandberg how to golf?
yes,
What
and passes the torch. Well,
I think
mean,
they
right.
did that movie, and
Okay.
that's my boy.
So let's go back to the plot of the original,
Right.
right? Wasn't it like to get enough money to get his grandma out of like this terrible nursing home that was like
Grandma's
abusive?
dead.
Right.
Yeah,
It's 30 years
he needed
now.
to raise money for his grandma. Yeah,
Right. So
Grandma's dead.
so what's the plot device now?
I don't
Does he
know. I
get
mean,
one of
Shooter
his-
McGavin's in it.
Does he
Shooter
get one of
Okay,
his
yeah.
daughters to show up? Did you see the movie about
Yeah.
them being Jewish?
And
That
he
was
was-
very good.
I think it's got to be like a.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Shooter was on the Rich Eisen show, and he said that the script is awesome,
Okay.
and they're really excited about it. So it okay. What this is going to be? There's a lot of ways that this could move from the original, from the movie, right? It could go in a million different directions, and if we're going to bring in a lot of pro golfers and stuff like that to do it, I'm wondering if there's going to be like a kid involved, kind of thing, and almost like a Rocky to Creed style, type of show, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think-
he almost has to teach a young golfer. I mean, that has to be the plot, right?
Right. And I think him and Shooter McGavin, like former enemies, right, need to team up, right, against some greater nemesis.
No, it's gonna be their.
No,
It's gonna be.
no.
It's
He's
gonna
gonna-
be their kid. It's gonna be their
Yeah,
kids.
both their
and
kids.
Oh,
And their
okay.
kids are gonna be dicks.
That could be funny.
I mean, I've seen that movie before.
Yeah.
No, I've seen that movie before. It's not that
Or the kids are going to fall in love with one another. Maybe it's a
Oh, that's
Oh.
a twist.
Romeo and Juliet kind of deal.
maybe it's like
Interesting.
Parent, like
And they have
what's
to
his
golf
face?
for the love.
No, they don't have to golf at all. Maybe it's just one of those like feuding in-laws movies. That trope.
Well,
We
it's
could
gonna
do
have
that.
to be a little bit of golf in this movie.
I mean, they are
Will the Ben
ex-golfers.
Stiller character show up?
Right, the Ben Stiller, that
Hmm.
whole situation with Ben Stiller and what is the name of that fucking movie with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro?
Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents. Like maybe they meet the parents at.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it really could go in a million ways. So we'll stay tuned.
No, because
I-
Adam Sandler's still going to be the number one.
Mhm.
He's the lead actor in this. So.
I am not that excited because it does not seem like it has a possibility of being good.
Yeah,
I got you, John. You're setting the bar low.
Bad Bunny is in
all.
this too. Like it's a lot of people, but I feel like this is you might have a too many cooks in the kitchen problem here.
Like, you know what else I didn't watch? I didn't watch Clerks 3 because who gives a shit? Honestly.
God, Clerks 3 even came out.
Wow, Cousins spiked the ball with 1 second left.
Yeah, I saw. That's amazing.
Oh,
And they're close.
yeah, but
Close
Young Ho.
enough.
Why are they so excited about them spiking the ball when they're still down by 3?
Because they're going to kick a field goal.
65-year-old field
Okay.
goal. Young Ho Koo.
Except he missed one from 41 earlier. They showed.
Well, it was blocked.
No, he missed one from 41 yards, and he had
Oh.
one blocked. So he's not had a good day.
Anyway, are we gonna watch this or are we gonna?
Sorry,
do
yeah.
a live show?
Okay.
We should do a live
Par-
show.
pardon
Mark,
my
do you know what
I think
interruption.
the topic's
Mark,
over.
Mark, do you know what time it is?
Oh yeah.
I do know what time it is, but I want to watch the field goal.
Oh, fuck the field goal. Ah, Jesus.
Wait, I could do the song and watch the field goal.
Yes,
at the
do
same
that.
time.
Do that.
We can let the friends watch the field goal. 1, 2.
Oh no! We'll get copyright in front.
They just got a penalty.
Do
Oh no.
do do do.
Stop it! I did it again, didn't I?
Why do you keep clipping, Mark? That's fine.
I don't know.
Pete
There's
didn't
some
even-
mic setting on here that's
Pete-
not
Pete
working.
didn't
Yeah,
even
we-
save you this
Do I need to
time.
make out? Do I need to make out with the mic? Is that what that
No,
was?
I think it's the opposite. I think we need to turn the gain down or something.
I think you need to make out with the mic.
It's the final topic.
All right, that was much better. Much
We
better.
got most of that.
Mark.
Yes.
We got most of that.
We'll just turn your gain down for the next
Most of it,
time.
Most of it. So I have 2 topical questions. I'm going to pick one. Saturday Night Live's 50th season premiered this past weekend.
Saturday Night Live.
With a fantastic election season cold open with Maya Rudolph playing Vice President and presidential hopeful Kamala Harris. Show veterans Andy Samberg and Dana Carvey also returned, playing Harris's husband, Doug, entering to teach me how to Dougie Emhoff, and President Joe Biden, respectively. SNL has been around to skewer the presidential race since it debuted in 1975, and Chevy Chase played then President Gerald Ford. So how important has SNL been to American culture and politics? And who has done your favorite presidential SNL impersonation?
Ooh.
50 years. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The show has been around for 50 years. And I mean, one of the reasons why they've probably come back, like, because remember, in the late 80s, they were on the verge of getting canceled.
Yep.
Right.
And the
Eddie Murphy saved him, right?
Eddie Murphy, but also Dana Carvey impersonating George Bush was one of the reasons why they came back.
Okay.
Because people started to watch because they loved Dana Carvey as George.
And his
H.W.
Biden, by
Bush.
the way, this past weekend was incredible.
Well,
So-
Bush, Bush
I
himself
didn't
really
like
loved
Biden.
his.
Yeah,
I
Bush
think
himself liked the Biden or the Bush. That is.
I
didn't like his
didn't
Joe Biden
really
impersonation?
like Joe Biden. Like I mean, Dana Carvey does a lot of fantastic impersonations. I don't think Joe Biden is one of his strongest. I think he got a lot of the mannerisms right, but the voice wasn't quite
Gotcha.
accurate.
Mhm.
Maya Rudolph looks exactly like Kamala Harris.
I
Insane.
mean,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
role she
pretty
was
good.
born to play, right?
She
And-
was born to play.
And Andy Samberg as Doug
I mean, Adam
Emhoff,
Sandler.
I
It's
think.
fine. You can say it.
I know.
Yeah,
But
that's great.
like Andy Samberg is like, that's magic, I think. And I hope that there's more of that. There was one more, right? Wasn't there one more person that got brought out? And I'm not including James Austin Johnson as Donald Trump. I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
there was one more person that came out during that.
James Austin
opening.
Johnson is
Somebody
great
had
though
done
at his
Vance.
political
Did somebody do
impersonations.
Vance?
What do you say, Steve?
Did someone do JD Vance?
Someone did do JD Vance.
Do they? I'd like to see Vance and Waltz. That'd be hilarious.
That's not the. Oh, that's right. It was Tim Walz. That's right. Who was Tim Walz? So it was someone famous that was Tim Walz.
Oh my god, comedian.
Research department.
Jim
Get on
Gaffigan.
this. Jim Gaffigan. Thank you.
Gaffigan.
Okay.
That's right. From Chicago.
I still had to see the premiere episode. We were gonna watch
You
it.
guys didn't watch it? You guys are the, you were in the hospital.
We were
I
kind of in the
saw it.
hospital.
I saw it.
I have a
Hey.
pass on this week.
You guys watch SNL. I don't watch SNL.
I know.
It was so
We're-
epic.
we're gonna
I
get
was just
to
like,
it.
oh shit.
We're definitely gonna watch it. We just need an opportunity to.
But another great,
Okay,
fantastic.
But let's pivot a little bit. How important is SNL in
yeah.
the political landscape? I mean, really, truthfully.
I mean, it's a big part of the culture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Agreed.
it's such a big
Yeah.
culture piece.
Especially when it comes to these presidential elections, because every 4 years SNL just hits it right out of the ballpark.
They do. Is it enough to influence people that are on the fence?
God, I hope not.
That's what I wanted, right? Because I mean,
Well,
Is
I
there-
mean, I think that's a real sad note in American culture currently is that we as a society are very, very ill-informed, very, very ill-informed. People believe everything they hear, and things like SNL and things like Weekend Update, but things like the stuff on Comedy Central,
Daily Show, right? I
Daily
feel like
Show, right.
I feel like that's more accurate news than most of the actual news stations at this
But
point.
we need unbiased representation. We need people we need people lambasting both
There's very
sides, 'cause
few that does that.
All
yeah.
politicians are ridiculous.
Walter Cronkite. We need a Walter Cronkite.
We need a
right?
Walter
that was the
Cronkite.
last-
Bring him
right?
back.
That was the last real news.
Can we revive
And-
Walter Cronkite with AI?
No,
Oh,
fuck, don't
100%.
say that.
Right?
It'll hear
Totally do
you.
that.
There we go. Problem solved.
Pete, it'll hear you.
Oh no.
You don't want that. You just don't want that. Mark has his awesome shirt on. I just noticed that.
You have
That's
my awesome
amazing.
shirt.
Hashtag awesome.
But like, when you think about it, it is so hard to see something on like the internet now, and everybody gets their news from Twitter and TikTok. But to see something that's 30 seconds and understand whether or not it's real,
Yeah.
really, it's actually very difficult.
Oh, some of the deep fakes are amazingly real.
Yeah. One of the only
Right.
sources you can even trust to be completely unbiased at this point is like Associated Press. That's like as bland as it gets.
Well, and
Right.
here's the scary part: everybody needs money to stay alive, and real organizations like the Atlantic are making deals with OpenAI to be partners, right? To be like content partners, and all that really means is they're allowing OpenAI to look at their data sources and to train OpenAI better, which is good for AI, but maybe less good for journalism.
Or yeah. How do you
So,
toe that
yeah,
line?
God, Mark?
I was gonna say the DOJ is it was on the news earlier today, I think, that they're really scared about like Russia, China, and Iran that are gonna like start messing with us with using AI and
They should be.
They already have been, haven't they? Isn't there
Yeah,
evidence of
it's
Russia
Late.
and Iran tampering with
but
elections on
there's
both
just gonna
sides?
there's more coming
Yeah.
they're afraid of, and not everyone is gonna do the research. They're just gonna see something, and if it agrees with their opinion, they're gonna run with it.
Yeah.
Just the World War III that we're.
There are Haitians eating
Right.
dogs.
It's the information war. We didn't expect that.
Did you see that someone?
Right,
that
or
someone was
that.
someone was interviewing JD Vance, and he said on the interview that clearly that was false, and they were just lying about it, but they wanted to get people to talk about immigration, so
Oh.
they were saying
Yeah.
ridiculous things on purpose. And this woman was just like, "Sir, you just said that was fabricated." And
He
he's like,
said,
"Well,
yeah.
it's not." He was like, "Well, yeah, but it's not important." It was like, it is very important.
Right.
that
You
you're
just made
lying
up
on
a
national-
story that then became the focal point of your campaign, apparently. Like,
What's
Right,
even
and
worse
there's
is
a
this,
bunch
the
of those
dog was
people.
found 3 hours later after the lady lost it, because the dog just, I guess, ran away for a little bit and then came back.
no bites out of the dog?
Oh.
Okay.
He just showed back right back up.
What are you gonna say, Steve?
No, I think it was said.
Okay.
Yes.
So, are we excited? And we'll just pivot a little bit in our last couple of seconds. Are we excited about the SNL movie?
You know, I was I saw a trailer for that, and
It
What
looks
is this
so
now?
good.
Is it a movie
it
like
looks pretty good.
about SNL?
Okay, so it is a dramatic movie about the hour and a half before the premiere of SNL in 1975.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm intrigued.
It
Ooh, the
looks
Falcons just won.
Wow.
incredible.
Hmm.
Looks so
It does.
good.
It does look really good. And I don't really think there's really anyone famous in this either. So
No, nobody at all.
It's kind of been under the radar. And I saw the trailer for it for the first time when I was watching the Beetlejuice sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Who caught that ball?
Hmm.
Tell me it wasn't Drake London.
It wasn't.
No,
Drake
it was
London.
not
Drake London
London,
got hurt,
but it wasn't Pitts either.
and it wasn't Kyle Pitts. Yep.
Was it Darnell fucking Mooney?
London
Darnell
No, it
was-
wasn't Mooney either. It was Hodges.
Yeah,
guy
but
named Hodges.
Mooney
London
scored
did
30
have
points
2
on
big
it.
catches though in overtime. He was instrumental in this happening.
Jesus Christ. The
Number
Falcons are
12,
fun.
whoever that is.
So anyway, okay, so bullet points before we end. SNL is cool. Documentary looks good. Politics are shit. I think we're done.
I think you summed it up nicely.
I think we're
Oh,
done.
we didn't do 5 minutes on that.
Yeah, we did.
So that has been our topics. We will be back next week with our friend Doug Faze. In the meantime, you can catch up on old episodes on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/@iftheseballspod. And don't forget to subscribe to us by clicking that little bell. We would like to thank our guests for joining us this week. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Steve.
I
Also-
appreciate it. This has been great.
You can also follow or like us on our socials at If These Balls Pod on X, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and TikTok. Our website is www.iftheseballscould.pod.com. This is Mark Pescier for my partner John Campagna and producer Pete Steffen. That's what we feel they would say if these balls could talk. All right, guys.
Nice.
Nighty night.
If these balls